Okay, so just really quickly to introduce myself before we jump into everything I need to cover. I'm Lizzie. I've been working with Elite for the last three, nearly 4 years. I started off as a volunteer, like you guys are about to be, in Kenya back in 2020, I think it was. I then got offered a job, stayed out, lived in Kenya for a year and a half, then moved to Costa Rica for a year and a half, ran the trips out there, and then came back to the UK. So I've been working with the Leap for a long time. I've done the trip that you guys are about to do so many times for a year and a half. I think I must have done it about 10, 11 times, the same route that you guys will be going. So any questions you have, hopefully I should be able to answer them. So to jump in, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to run through the arrivals first. You're arriving in Costa Rica. I'll then quickly run through the itinerary, so a bit more on what to expect, a bit more detail than what you guys have had so far. I'll then go through things like kit list, health, that kind of stuff, any visas, vaccinations, and then any questions at the end. Does that all sound good to you guys? Perfect. So, as far as I'm aware, most of you are on the team flight. What I will be doing is after this meeting, I'll send out a form from anyone that I haven't got your flight information and I'll collect that off you. But as far as I'm aware, you guys are all flying through Houston. So the idea is that you'll meet at Heathrow. I'll set up a WhatsApp chat for you guys probably this afternoon or tomorrow. So when you get to Heathrow, you can then text on there, say, right, let's meet at Cafe Nero or Wagamama's, wherever you want to meet. And then you'll then be able to fly through together. For that, you will need your American Esters. I will send a link to that closest to the time. Have you had a link to that? I can't remember. Did that come? Yes, with the flights. It should have been with the flights. And what that is a transfer visa. It's so annoying that you need it, but it does last a couple of years. So once you've applied for it, it will last you a few years. It will last you to go there and come back again, plus any more trips that you have. So make sure you reply to that. I will send you an email closer about a week before you depart, just to remind you to do that if you haven't already. Um, I think, yes. Okay, so when it comes to arrivals, hopefully you guys will all be together, arrivals in San Jose. You will be met outside the airport by a member of our team. Your team leader is someone called Zoe. So I will tell you a bit more about her in a second. So it's really important that when you leave the airport, you try and stick together the best you can. You'll all obviously come off the plane together. She'll be waiting there with a sign saying the leap. She'll then scoop you up. The two main things you need to remember for San Jose Airport is when you're going through immigration. So the two things you'll need at immigration are your proof of exit. So this is proof that you will be leaving the country. So that can be your return flight. Make sure you've got it printed off and you can just show it to them and they'll stamp you in. And then the second thing they might ask you for is your proof of address for the first night of your stay in Costa Rica. So this is, they don't want people just arriving in Costa Rica with no plan, going wherever. So you need to have, again, we'll send this to you. Hi, Victoria. Uh,
Hello.
we will send this to you. We'll make sure that you've got it about a week before you go. So, general rule of thumb, anything that we send you, anything that you have flight information, print it all off. Have it all in a little plastic clear folder, whatever you want to carry it in. Just have everything in a paper copy. Worst case scenario, that you then have anything you might be asked for. As far as arrivals, that's everything you need to know. It's very straightforward. Costa Rica doesn't actually have a visa, so you won't need any visa application process. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. All that you need to get into the country is proof of exit. Any questions on that part of arrivals? No? Okay, great. Like I said, you'll then be scooped up by the wonderful Zoe. Zoe lives in Costa Rica. She's been there for, I think, about a year, year and a half now. She'll be your leader throughout, and then she'll also have an assistant with her who'll be coming with you place to place. The other thing we do in Costa Rica is you have what we call a local guide. So in every destination, there'll be someone Costa Rican who lives in that destination. They'll also tag on with you. But Zoe will be the one that meets you at the airport. You'll then meet your bus driver, Pedro, who will be with you throughout the whole trip. He's amazing. You guys are going to love him. And you will go straight to a hotel for the first night. There, you have a quick supper, settle in, go to bed. You'll all be exhausted. It's a long journey. Next morning, you'll wake up, you'll have a little bit of a briefing about the trip. Zoe will tell you a bit more about what to expect, health and safety, any important things, and then you'll get straight on the road for your adventure. So I'm going to jump into the itinerary. I'm sure you guys have all read it by this point. I'm sure you know where you're going, but hopefully I will be able to give you a little bit more detail that maybe might not have been on the website, and anything extra that you need to know for each place. This itinerary, it's a rough itinerary at the moment, so the order in which you're going places isn't going to change. It might change plus or minus a day. You might spend an extra day somewhere and a day less somewhere else. But this is, I mean, not concrete, but it is pretty much what you'll be doing. So like I said, landing in San Jose, you'll stay in a hotel called Rosa America, really sweet swimming pool. If anyone wants to get up in the morning and go for a quick swim, you're more than welcome. It's in the jungle, it's lush, it's loud, there's birds, amazing. But you won't be staying there long. You'll get in the bus after breakfast and head off down south. You're heading towards Capos, Manuel Antonio National Park area. Incredible, incredible part of Costa Rica. In my opinion, one of the most beautiful parts of Costa Rica. The national park is world famous. There's every type of tropical animal you can think of: birds, sloths, monkeys, deer. I mean, it's a real wow factor of Costa Rica. You're going straight into the thick of it. Beautiful beaches. When you go, you will spend a day in Manuel Antonio National Park, and I genuinely believe they are the most beautiful beaches in Costa Rica. So it's a great place to be starting off. Whilst you're here, you'll also be doing some volunteering. The rest of your volunteering. This will be in a place called Cocal, which is a small little fishing community. So this area is quite cut off from the rest of Costa Rica. You have to get a little ferry to get there. Ferry is probably a generous term. It's a boat, a standing boat. They fit 8 or 10 people on there, and it's probably about 100 meters from start to finish. But it's quite fun. You all pile on there, and then you'll spend the days in the community centre there. Lots of the kids there won't be in school. So this community centre is their lifeline. So you're going to be there. They also have a school, but you're mainly in the community centre and you're doing whatever they need help with. They might need something painted, they might need to fix a bench, they might need to. I had a group build a shower, an outdoor shower, and it's right on the beach. So when you're here, you'll be playing with the kids, getting stuck in, painting, building, swimming in the sea, whatever it is, it's kind of a muck in kind of attitude. So whatever they throw at you, whatever they need you to do, that's what you're there for. So you'll spend 3 days doing that. And then in the extra days, like I said, you'll go to Manuel Antonio National Park for one of the days. You'll then go to on a waterfall hike another day. I don't know if you've seen the waterfalls in Costa Rica, at least on our Instagram or our website. Incredible, stunning, beautiful waterfalls. So you'll hike through the jungle. There's 2 waterfalls that you go to. You can swim in one. Stunning. So you spend the whole day doing that. Then you'll go and have a picnic supper on the beach. And then depending on timings, you'll either leave after 5 days or you will have an extra day where you're staying just to chill out, swim by the pool. That brings me on to where you're staying in Capos. So you're staying in a place called La Finca. La Finca in Spanish means farm. It's like a old plantation where you're staying. So it used to be, before it was bought by the guy that now currently owns it, it used to be a palm oil plantation. So they had type of palm trees where they would then mass produce. They cut down all of the primary forest, all of the old jungle, and then planted these huge palm plantations. As you can imagine, this is awful. It wrecked the biodiversity. All of the animals were pushed out. The guy then bought this plot of land and he's now aiming to rewild the entire thing. So to get there, you have to drive through all of the other palm plantations, and then suddenly you're in this little pocket of jungle. So there's no more palm trees. It's how it should be. There's mountains, there's viewpoints, you can do sunrise hikes, there's a swimming pool. So it's a really, really special place to stay. One
I
point
might need a week off,
is there is no Wi-Fi here. So if anyone is worried about that. So Victoria, I don't know if you can mute your.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. There is no Wi-Fi here, so if you don't have data, then you will not have Wi-Fi at the base. But you can go when you're out and about, the leader will offer to take you to a restaurant or a bar where you can connect to Wi-Fi every day. So you're not going to be away from Wi-Fi for long periods of time. You should be able to check in at least once a day. Here, there's 3 meals included. There's a football pitch, there's a volleyball court, there's a swimming pool, and it's quite simple, but it will be mixed. Sorry, not mixed. There will be a boys' dorm and a girls' dorm, but it's just you guys there. There's no one else. Really cool place to spend the first bit. Not having Wi-Fi is really nice for the first couple of days. It means you guys can't be sat on your phones. You have to mix as a group, play some games, icebreakers, all of that kind of stuff. Awesome place for the first stop. Second stop is Natua. So Natua is the animal sanctuary. Again, you might have seen that this is what we call the nitty-gritty phase of the program. So this is the phase of the program which it's hard work. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's sweaty, it's hot, sometimes it's Manual labor sounds bad. It's not manual labor, but you're using your hands. You might be doing heavy lifting. A lot of the stuff that you'll be doing there is if, say, for example, they get an emergency animal come in, you might have to build a new enclosure. You might have to build enrichment toys. So again, a lot of it is just whatever work they need doing. But the main focus of what you're doing whilst you're there will be doing all of the feedings. So every morning you get up early and you prepare all the animals' food. It's ridiculous. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. Each animal, they all have veterinary nutritionalists, and each animal has like a set menu of what it needs to get. So it will be like 3.5 grams of banana. So it's really precise. You guys have to cut it all up, measure it. It's beautiful. They end up looking like salad bowls. They are the best fed animals I've ever come across, but you guys will be part of that, feeding them in the morning and then the afternoon. In between will be where you'll be doing any other work, and then you finish quite early and have nice, quiet evenings. So you spend 4 days there. They have incredible animals. What it is, all the animals that are there will all be rescues. So, say, for example, at the moment they have three jaguars there, two of which are brothers, and they were found in a petrol station as tiny cubs. So, someone had bred them illegally and then dumped them in a petrol station and didn't know what to do with them. So, in Costa Rica, they do have a huge issue with illegal animal trade. They sell them internationally, they sell them to America, they sell them within the country. So a lot of the animals have ended up there are there through this animal trade, and they would have been rescued. People realize they can't deal with them, so they'll donate them. They've got an ocelot there, which is another type of cat. Beautiful, looks kind of like a snow leopard. That's got three legs. It's really sad, but it's really sweet. And it's really special being able to see them in this environment. So it's an amazing place to go, the type of place you wouldn't be able to go if you were just backpacking by yourself. Um, but it is quite hard work. Accommodation there, again, it's fairly rustic. Girls most likely will be in one long dormitory style room. There is air conditioning, so that makes it slightly better. And boys, you'll be in a similar style room. It's like a shipping container that's been converted. Again, very comfortable fans. It's all you need. Obviously, showers, toilets, fresh water. But this is the phase where you might be slightly out of your comfort zone. It might not be quite what you're used to, but that's part of the experience. And hopefully, you guys find it really rewarding. It's an awesome place to be. You then, after 4 nights there, will then jump up to Monteverde. Monteverde is the cloud forest. So, this is what we call your adventure phase of the program. The cloud forest is stunning. Cloud forests themselves are a really unique environment. Only 1% of the world's global woodland or forest is cloud forest. So it's forest that's sat above the clouds for I think it's 95% of the year. So it means they're a really, really unique place for biodiversity. So many birds, so many plants, sloths, monkeys, agoutis, incredible, incredible animals. So here, whilst you're here, in the mornings, you'll be doing hikes, so you'll be doing planned activities. You'll go out, you'll explore. There's a couple of waterfalls, there's gorgeous trees, hanging bridges. So those will all be set activities in the mornings. And then in the afternoons, you will then have free time to sign up for extra activities. So the extra activities are things like bungee jumping, zip lining, my personal favorite, the horseback riding, where you can ride through the jungle, through the forest, up onto mountain tops. There's one viewpoint that you go to on the ride, which is on one side you can see the Pacific Ocean, and on the other side you can see the Atlantic Ocean. So if you can picture Costa Rica, you're at like the peak of the central line of the country, and you can see for hundreds of miles either way. It's incredible, so beautiful. What other ones? There's coffee tours you can go and do, coffee and chocolate tours. Costa Rica, of course, is famous for coffee. So you can go and see how it's harvested, how it's grown, which is really interesting. And then if you want to, you can taste and sample it all. Same with chocolate, you can taste and sample the chocolate. And they also brew what they call moonshine. I don't know if you guys have heard of moonshine. It's like a liqueur, I think that's how you say it. So you can also taste that if you want to. Whilst you're there, you're staying in a town called Santa Elena, which is a really sweet little town. It's quite touristy, it's quite busy, so there's lots of shops and lots of restaurants. This is the first place you'll have on the trip where there's an opportunity to go and eat out in the evenings. There's a couple of really cool bars. There's one bar that has a huge tree inside the bar. So you're sat in tables underneath this tree. It's all covered. And there's also a little kind of nightclub there. So if you guys did want to go out, this would be your first opportunity to do so. But it's a very friendly town, very safe town. Like I said, it's quite touristy, so it's not too off the beaten track, but there's still lots of sweet little things you can do here. So you have 5 nights here. Like I said, mornings will be planned activities, afternoon will be extra activities. And then finally jumping into the final phase, which is the Santa Teresa phase. So this is the beach phase, the surfing phase, chill, yoga, turtles, all of that wrapped up into one. So Santa Teresa is where I lived. It's one of the main towns in Costa Rica, one of the most popular towns in Costa Rica, and it's known for being one of the top 10 surf destinations in the world. It's a really, really cool town. It's really groovy. There's all sorts of different restaurants and bars, beach bars. I mean, there's a real melting pot of so many different cultures and communities. It's a really exciting place to be. And there's lots going on. So you'll be staying at Jakira, which is base camp. I'll touch on Jakira in a second. I'll come back to that. It'll make more sense. It's a amazing like jungle hostel. You've got a swimming pool. What else have you got? They've got a pizza oven. They've got like a little dance floor. They've got hammocks. And when I say hammocks, I mean hammocks like the size of rooms, like huge. I don't know if anyone can picture that, but like huge net hammocks. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous place to stay. About 5, 10 minute walk from the beach. So that will be your home for the next it's 10, 11 days or so. Whilst you're here, you sometimes cross over with other groups. So there might be we have lots of groups from the Netherlands there. So you'll be mixing with different gap year students whilst you're there. It won't just be you guys anymore. Um, Here you'll spend most of your time here, other than 2 days where you'll hop off and go to Serenas, which is the turtle sanctuary. Again, this is a really cool place to go, one of those places that you can't go unless you're with a group like us. It's completely off the beaten track. You have to walk to get there, so it's about an hour-long walk along the beach, which is stunning. And then what Serenas is it's a huge plot of protected land. So I think God, I can't remember. It's 2 kilometers along the beach and then like 5 or 10 kilometers back. Or so. It's huge of protected area. So whilst you're there, you'll be working on a lot of permaculture projects as well. They have some really strong permaculture projects. But obviously the main focus of what we guys want you to do there is the turtle sanctuary. They've got a turtle sanctuary where they have per season it's like up to 100 nests in the sanctuary. So hopefully whilst you're there, you'll either get to see a turtle coming up to lay if you're doing night patrols, or you'll be able to help with the turtle hatchings whilst you're there. Unpredictable, you never know. We'll all keep our fingers crossed. We can't predict. Hopefully you will. And then you'll then jump back to Santa Teresa where you'll be doing more surfing, yoga. There's a couple of Spanish lessons, 1 or 2 hikes. There's some extras if you want to sign up for. You can go, again, you can go horseback riding if you want. There's an extra boat trip whilst you're there, which is so much fun. Normally, most people will do it. It's a whole day boat trip where you can go kind of island hopping, similar island hopping type of thing. But it's also, you have a lot more free time in this part of the program. So it's your chance to explore the area, unwind, relax. You're going to be really busy. It's fast paced. It all happens quite quickly, but this is your chance to really enjoy Costa Rica. Whatever you've enjoyed doing throughout the trip, you can then be doing in the last week or so. So that's very quickly a summary. Has anyone got any questions about the itinerary part of the program? No. We'll do more questions at the end if they do pop up. So just briefly, meals. So meals aren't included all the way throughout the program. So in the first phase in Kepos, you have all 3 meals included. There will be an option for a dinner out if you want to do dinner out, but they are all included. Natua, all 3 meals are included. Monteverde, you've got breakfast and lunch included, and then supper isn't included. So if you want to eat out, you can eat out. The hostel does also have a kitchen. So if you want to cook for yourself or get together in a group and cook in the group, that's fine as well. And then Santa Teresa is the same. So you've got breakfast and lunch included, and then supper, it's up to you. Again, because there's so many different places to eat out, we used to have meals included. No one ate them. There's no point. You guys want to go out and eat and explore, that's fine. So you've only got 2 meals included there. So moving on, I've got a list because there's so much and otherwise I'll forget. Extras. So I briefly mentioned Zoe. So just to give a little bit of background on that, we partner with a company called Jakira. So we are based in the UK, and then Jakira is the company that's based in Costa Rica. So all of the staffing and all of the activities whilst you're out there will be run from Jakira, which is where you're staying in Santa Teresa. So that's their base camp. So Zoe will be your team leader. Like I said, she lives there. She's been there for a couple of years. And then you've also got the whole support network of Jakira. So Pedro, again, I mentioned him, your bus driver. Chris and Ada are the two owners. And then they've got a full staff of admin, of managers. So everything in country, you're not alone at any point. Obviously, you have Zoe, but then Zoe also has the whole team backing her up behind her. I think that's yes. Okay. So moving on. This is your warning. I'm sure you've heard it. If you've done research, you would know this. Costa Rica is incredibly expensive, ridiculously so. This is me telling you that now. So when you come back at the end of the trip and you say, "Oh my God, I spent so much money," at least you had some pre-warning. You can, however, cheat the system. You can work with the system. If you budget properly, it doesn't have to be expensive. To give you a little picture, a beer in a beach bar is going to cost you about $8. A cocktail in a beach bar could cost you anywhere up to $16. So if you're going out and about and drinking lots of fancy cocktails, it's going to cost you a lot. If you're buying beers from the supermarket, it's going to be cheaper. If you're eating out, it's obviously going to be more expensive. If you're cooking for yourself, it will be cheaper. So everyone's going to have different budgets. Everyone will have either worked and saved up their own money. There are lots of different ways of doing it. So just be mindful of other people in the group. Some people might not want to spend as much as you. That's okay, but everyone's different. We do recommend that you all budget around $150 extra per week. So that will include if you have to eat out, eating out, any extra activities you do, that would be included. Obviously, week by week is different. So some weeks, for example, when you're in the animal sanctuary, you're not going to be spending money. Whereas when you're in Santa Teresa, you might want to be spending more money. So just be mindful as you're going through. It's better to budget more than you will actually spend. And then if you have some left at the end, then that's fine. That's not a big deal. With money, we recommend you take $100 cash with you. We call this your emergency stash. Put it in a sock, put it in a shoe. That is for you to have in case, obviously, this is very unlikely. Worst case scenario, something goes wrong and you need some cash. This isn't necessarily for spending, this is just to fall back on. Then once you're out there, you can then get the national currency, the Costa Rican currency. At any ATM, your leaders will show you how to do that, that's fine. But you don't need to take, they're called colones, you don't need to take them with you. They're not that easy to get in the UK and the exchange rate is awful. So just do it once you're out there. With cards, we recommend you take 2 cards. This is for your spending. Try if you possibly can. This might sound overkill. Keep them separately. So if you've got one, say, in a small wallet, keep one in your bag. This means if you do accidentally lose your wallet, again, it does happen, it's annoying. If you do lose your wallet, you then haven't lost all access to money. So it happens more times than you can imagine. People will lose their wallet and then don't have a backup, and then they have no way of getting money out, spending money. So take 2 cards and keep them separately. Cards like Revolut are really good. I don't know if any of you have that already. Another one that lots of people use is Monzo. Look into them because some of them have really high, withdrawal fees, like international fees. Some of them aren't so bad. So for example, my Barclays card is 4%, whereas my Monzo is like either 0 or 1%. Again, you're not going to be spending that much money, so it's not the end of the world, but just something to bear in mind. Along similar lines, SIM cards, I briefly mentioned SIM cards. Some UK SIM providers will cover you whilst you're out there. Others won't. Do some research. If you want to have data, you can either get international bolt-ons, which just add on to your UK SIM, or once you're out there, your leader can set you up with a Costa Rican SIM card. So you swap the SIM cards in your phone, and then you'll have Costa Rican data. It might be a bit more expensive than adding on a bolt-on, but at least you know then it will work because it's a Costa Rican SIM. The leader, of course, Zoe, she will have data at all times. She's like the emergency phone holder, so she will never not have data. So please don't panic that if you don't have data that you're cut off. No, Zoe will be the point of contact. Yes, spare phone. We recommend to lots of people to bring a spare phone. Again, worst case scenario, if you do lose your phone, it's an absolute nightmare. You've then got no way of contacting anyone. It doesn't have to be a nice phone by any means. An old iPhone 7, you chances are you won't need it, but if you do and you don't have it, it is very frustrating. Lots of people drop their phone in the sea or lose their phone or break their phone. We've seen it all, and you don't want to be that person. If you don't have one, I'm sure someone in the group will have one that they don't mind lending you, but you can't get, I mean, you can get phones out there, but they're either very expensive or very crap. So try and avoid that if you can. Adapter that you need in the wall, a plug adapter is a US adapter. So it's two little prongs, skinny little rectangular prongs. If you look it up, you'll be able to find it online. Bring a couple, then you'll be able to charge phones, portable chargers, all of that kind of stuff at the same time. And another thing to bear in mind is it can be really helpful to bring a extension lead. So then you only need one adapter to go into the wall, and then you've got four UK plugs that you can then plug whatever in. So just when you're packing, that's quite a useful thing to have. I'm going to now quickly jump into health. What time is it? 10 minutes. Quickly jump into health, and then I'll do kit list, and then I'm basically done, and you guys can ask any questions. So I'm sure you have seen by now. If not, I can point you in the right direction. We've given you guys all a kit list. So on there is a couple of health and safety things, first aid things. It's really important that you have your own mini first aid kit. It does not by any means need to be extensive. We're not expecting you to have an extensive first aid kit, but things like antiseptic, a couple of plasters, simple, but so that you can cover yourself for any small cuts and grazes. Our leader, Zoe, she will carry a big, like proper field first aid kit. So if there is anything you need, she will of course have it. But it's just good for you to have things in case you need to cover yourself. On the notes of cuts and grazes, it's a tropical climate. Things get infected really quickly. So things like mozzie bites, if you scratch a mozzie bite, just be really, really mindful. You need to keep it clean. You don't want infected cuts. This is a bit too much information. I had a cut on my shin, should have been quite a simple cut. It took about 3 months to heal, and I now have a scar about that long on my shin. I didn't look after it, so just make sure you are mindful of bumps and grazes. Everywhere you go, Zoe is fully first aid trained. So if you have any little bumps that you can't look after, she will then step in. If there's anything she doesn't feel comfortable with, so if there's anything, again, God forbid, you injure yourself and she doesn't feel she can handle it, everywhere you go, we have a doctor that we work with. So everywhere we go, you'll never be far away from either a hospital, a clinic, or a doctor. So worst case scenario, Zoe knows where to take you, and obviously they're incredible. The healthcare in Costa Rica is weirdly good. It's expensive, but really good quality of service. So don't panic if anything does happen. There are things in place to get you sorted. I think that's jabs. There are jabs on the kit list. I'm hoping you guys have all seen that by now and started to organise that. It's simple. All you need is tetanus, Hep A, and typhoid. If you are really important planning on traveling around Central America, I would recommend yellow fever. I'm not a medical professional, but speak to your doctor. Lots of countries in Central and South America will need yellow fever. So if you are planning on traveling, just bear that in mind. And then kit list, everything's on there for a reason, basically. So try and bring everything that you can that's on there. There will be shopping opportunities whilst you're out there to get small bits and bobs, shampoo and conditioner, soap, deodorant, snacks. Obviously, you can get that kind of stuff, but it's easier to bring things out with you the first time round rather than buying for it. And then final few little bits and bobs. So for us, these trips work on communication. So obviously communication between you guys and your leaders. I will be the main point of contact between Costa Rica and the UK. So I will speak to your leaders daily. I'll speak to Chris, find out what's going on, speak to Zoe. She'll write me a little mini report every day and send me some pictures. I will then distribute this to your parents. So once a week, I write a report to the parents. That sounds really formal. It's not formal. It basically just tells the parents what you guys have been up to, any highlights, any sweet little anecdotes from the trip, and then a couple of photos. Just so your parents can stay in touch. I know what some of you guys are like. You won't message your parents for the entire month, and I will be the one being in touch with them. Every family is different, but that's just a weekly routine thing that I do so they can stay in the loop. When parents want to get in touch with us, obviously they can get straight in touch with you, but we ask that they get in touch with myself, and then I will then get in touch with the team in Costa Rica. If you guys can try and avoid giving out your leader's number to your parents, the leader needs to focus on the group. She can't be texting and calling parents. That's what I'm here for. So if for any reason you want to give parents contacts, please give them mine. You guys are on a team. You're in for an incredible experience. So we really hope that you guys can all support each other. Like I was saying earlier, I briefly touched on earlier, different people are going to have different comfort zones. So for you, something that you find terrifying, someone else might find fine, and vice versa. So it's really important that you guys can support each other through the trip. There's going to be moments where you do feel uncomfortable and you might feel homesick, but that's why you're there. You're there for each other. This also applies to misbehaving. You guys are all adults, so you will be treated like adults. You're all 18 and 19. You can drink, you can go out, you can take responsibility of yourselves. We're not here, I say we, I'm not. Your leaders in Costa Rica aren't there to be your parents or to be your teachers. You guys have left school. This is now the adult world. So we do expect you guys to act that way. If for whatever reason, misbehaviors are happening, if people are drinking too much, situations occur, then we will put things in place to keep you guys safe. The main reason we give you all these instructions and any rules that we might have, which is limited, is to keep you guys safe. It's not to be boring, it's not to be dull. We just want you guys to have a good time within reason. You've signed up for a volunteer program. It's not a booze cruise. If you wanted a booze cruise, go to Southeast Asia. You're here for an experience. It's all part of the package. So yes, we hope that you guys take that on board, have fun, but don't do anything silly, please. If people do misbehave, they will get a stroppy email from Millie. You don't want to be the tit that messes it up for everyone. If someone's being difficult, it really brings down the group. So try not to be that person. I'm sure you won't be. I think that's everything I have to say. Um, the final thing I will say is what I am going to do this afternoon is I'm going to firstly set up your WhatsApp group. So I'll get you all on there. Whatever email, no, phone number you gave us when you booked will be the phone number that goes into the WhatsApp. So if you gave us your parents' number, that will go into the WhatsApp. So if your mum gets a text saying she's been added, please ask her to tell me and I'll put you in there instead. And then the other thing I'm going to do is we need to get you all your t-shirts. So I'm going to send out a final form. This will collect your t-shirt information, so the dress and the size that you want. And then it will also get the flight information and your insurance information. So I'll send those out this afternoon. And then tomorrow, one or the other, and I will then send out the recording. So if you want to rewatch this, you can rewatch this. And I will send out your itinerary. So you can then look at that and see what I've discussed. Okay, we have 4.5 minutes left. Any questions from you guys?
How many people do we have in our group?
Great question. Let me find the spreadsheet. At the moment, it is 19, so it's quite a nice big team. How far out are we? About 5 weeks out. So we would expect this to grow. So it'll probably sit around 22 by the time you go. Any more questions?
Yeah, with baggage, is it
Yeah.
definitely like take a rucksack or would like a not like a hard suitcase, but one that's like squishable, like to put
That's
down, would that
fine.
work
So
as well?
basically, the reason we say that is there will be points where your bags might have to go on the roof of the bus. So they have to be strapped onto the roof of the bus. This is because you're quite a big group, so there isn't space on the bus. If we then have suitcases, it's really difficult, like hard shell suitcases, it's really difficult to stack them all together. So as long as it's squishy, like duffel bags, lots of people bring like big,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
duffel bags, like the North Face bags, totally fine. Just don't bring anything hard. If you want to have wheels, you can have wheels. Just make sure the rest of it is squishy.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any more questions from you guys? No. What I will do is once I've sent out the recording, I can also send if you want a text version of what I've run through. So you can refer back to that as well if you do have any more questions. Once you've got the WhatsApp, I set it up with, it's called Leap Admin Phone is the WhatsApp number. So any questions you then have, don't worry about emailing me, just text me the question and then I'll reply as soon as I see it. Much easier, much quicker. If you can, try and ask the questions on the group chat because I'm sure other people will have the same questions and then everyone can see the answer. I will add Zoe to the chat about a week before you head off. So if you then have any questions about anything else in Costa Rica, she can then answer them a week before you guys fly out. I think that's everything. For those that are watching the recording, I hope your exams are going well. I hope everything is smooth. And yes, that's everything from me. Thank you guys for coming. I'm sure you guys are all busy, so it means a lot that you've squeezed this hour into your day. Thank you. Very kind. All right, I'm going to stop the recording.